A personality like Shah Rukh Khan, there will never be another. There never was,
Yeah.
and there never will be. There is never going to be another Shah Rukh Khan. If you make a film for yourself, with your passion and your desire to tell a story, please do tell it. But then tell it with your own money.
Hi Karan, welcome to Forbes India.
Hi.
And congratulations on 25 years. How does it feel?
It's a very difficult question to answer immediately when someone asks you how does 25 years of your entire career feel. I feel grateful. That's the first emotion that crosses my mind because it's been 25 years that I've been working non-stop, and I have to be grateful for the fact that I had work to do non-stop, and the work has been consistent. There's obviously been an evolution. The 25-year-old that made Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and the 51-year-old that directed Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani, I feel diametrically like two different people. And when they say that you're a Gemini, which I am, and you have you get two for the price of one. So I feel there were two of me, literally, in my career span. That began with one person that I am and was and will always be, and then the one person that I turned into. That made this film. So it feels great. Lots of relationships in these 25 years. Lots of great movies, some hits, some misses. Some huge cinematic victories, some very terrifying cinematic losses. I also, on personal front, I lost my father when I was 32 years old. That was a big setback to us as a family emotionally, to our company Dharma Productions. But with the universe's grace, and with the support of my best friend and the CEO of my company, Apurva Mehta, we're here today on our feet with 4 verticals. We have Dharma Productions, which is our mothership company. We have Dharmatic Entertainment, which is our digital arm. We have Dharma 2.0, which is our ad division. And we have DCA, which is our talent management division. So yes, a lot has happened. And this particular year has been very, very special. My 25th year gave me a directorial film that was a success, a national award. And we are ending the year, with possibly one of the biggest box office months. So great things looking out for the digital domain as well as the celluloid universe. We are all very blessed in the industry right now.
Great, and we're going to come to that evolution in a bit. But as you said, when your father passed away, you were very young, and entrepreneurship sort of came to you. It was not something that you necessarily chose.
Right.
So at what point do you think did you have a turning point where you finally felt like this is where I need to be? And how did you gain that confidence to sort of take that forward?
Honestly, it wasn't an easy decision. I remember losing my father on the 26th of June, 2004. And up to that point, my father was pretty much my guiding light, my driving force, my also only connection with the business side to things. I had no clue. I was never strong. I don't think inherently I had a business acumen. Neither did I ever deal with the finances or the administration of my company or anything to do with it. I was just allowed to be creative, spoilt to be just creative, indulged to that extent. So the moment he passed away, it felt like someone just removed the rug from your feet and dug a hole for you to jump right into. And I was lost for the first couple of months. But then I realized it was his massive dream. Dharma Productions was not just, for him, was not just a company, it was a dream. A dream that he hoped would be a consistent reality. And there were thoughts I had that should I just shut shop and just be a filmmaker, work for other producers? Will I be able to run a company entirely on my own? And that's when I called my best friend who was working in London at that time. I had no other family really. My mom is the only child to her parents. I was not in touch with anyone from my father's side of the family to that extent. I'm an only child, so there was no family really to fall back on. It was just me and then Apurva, who I made him sit on my dad's chair. And the idea was to kind of that instinct that you talk about, that moment was actually taken because it was an adverse circumstance. It wasn't something that I chose. But the cliche goes that every adversity gives you an opportunity, and I think that adversity gave me the opportunity of jumping right in and taking the company forward, as opposed to kind of sinking that ship and going away from it to a shore that maybe I needn't get to. But I went to another shore, which was the shore that I should have always tried to be at.
And a lot of industry people talk about how you get your gumption and the ability to bring the industry together from your father.
Yeah.
Could you walk us through some of the business lessons that you've taken away from him?
Well, he was he was a people's person. And he said 3 simple words: people need people. And he was like, if you need people, you have to be there for them so that they can be there for you. He's saying it's a relationship-based industry. This is before the film world got exceptionally corporate, but somehow I feel like he would have still believed that it's a relationship-based industry. It's not an industry that is bound by contract or bound by legalities and modalities as much as it's bound by relationships. We make promises to each other when we accept a film or we greenlight a film, and it's always verbal, and then you get into that. But to that, also besides the movies you make, the relationships you have to keep up to is what he taught me. He said, don't only nurture relationships of people you're working with. Nurture relationships with the fraternity, because you just absolutely never know where you might need them and they might need you, and you should be there for them. So his 3-word mantra, people need people, is something I've always lived with. The other thing that he always said to me was the success and failure of a film is never the box office result. It's the experience the crew and the team has had making the film. If you make the biggest hit in the entire universe, but the crew making the film was unhappy making it, he says, for me that film is a failure. So make sure that people are well taken care of and they're comfortable and they're happy and they're enjoying the experience, as opposed to just focusing on the end box office game.
And as you said, from then to now, Dharma now has 4 verticals. It's become this massive studio. How would you say you've evolved as a leader?
I think what happens is, when you say how have you evolved as a leader, the question is, when a leader feels he or she is a leader, that's where the first problem arises. Yeah. I think that the idea is to be a team member always. Yes, you've been given that designation that you are technically a leader on paper, and that is your designation, but that cannot be your attitude. Because your attitude is of a leader, you will never be able to lead a team. Yeah. You want to be a collaborator, you have to always be a team member. You have to always be like making sure that you make others feel that they're with you on the same wavelength. The moment you exercise superiority and you advocate it with your body language, it's going to always crumble. Then they will create a distance between you and your team members, and they won't be able to freely express their real thoughts. And I believe that there has to be a democratic approach to every organization. The second thing that I believe is delegation and trust. Now, the 2 words actually are very closely connected, because many people delegate but don't trust. Yeah. And many people don't delegate at all, and that is also a problem. I delegate and I trust, and then you leave it. You can't be a control freak and allow a creativity to flow, because we are eventually a creative organization. Right. Controlling something entirely perhaps works in some business domains, and I'm not sure because I'm not from any other industry, but I know in a creative domain, a democratic approach always has to be the way forward, not a dictatorship. You know, if you say my way or the highway, you will never land up on the highway of success. You have to just say, this is my opinion, what is yours? Take a collective opinion and think about it. Because not any of us are blessed with always the right decision to make, always the right instinct. Yes, your instinct is a superpower, you must exercise it. But your instinct has to also meet with the feedback of others. And that's something that I've allowed. I've always allowed an open door policy at Dharma Productions. I'm not somebody who will meet you by appointment on email. People have walked in and out of my cabin can we chat in 10 minutes? I'm like, I'll finish with this and get back to you. And like, it's like that all the time. There is no such thing as like, you know, of course it's sometimes I'm very busy and meeting me is not always because I'm doing many things, but it's not that I make inaccessibility my thing. I'm always accessible. The 3 A's, again, I'm again saying accessibility, affability, amiability. Very critical, again, in the creative business.
That's really refreshing to hear. So obviously you are investing in digital as well. Is there a sort of formula that you've come up with where you decide what goes to digital versus what goes to the big cinemas? Are there some genres that you don't think work in theatres anymore?
Yeah, I mean, we've grown to realize that during the pandemic there was, of course, everything going to digital because the theatrical experience was still like a question mark at that point because of the fact that we were in a thick of a pandemic and it wasn't safe. But now, you know, theatres are like, you know, overflowing with love, and the whole cinematic experience is back, and we're all back in the cinema halls giving this massive business to great films this year, which is so fantastic. But the digital medium is equally strong, and the digital revolution remains. It's great. So I think there are some genres, I feel, and subgenres that, and of course this is not a rule, there's an exception to every, like 12th fail just kind of passed the test with flying colors, and that would have, to anybody's thinking mind, say, oh, that perhaps is a great digital film. Turned out to be a solid commercial success, and well done to the team and to Vinod Chopra, who's such a veteran. But you do know that otherwise, I would say that the tentpole films, the big cinematic experiences, are more celluloid friendly and more for the cinemas, and genres that are dramedies or family comedies, or they are, for that matter, like, you know, suspense thrillers. Genres such as that are always a little tough to sell theatrically. They become more challenging. Rom-coms,
Really?
you know, like the films that kind of defined our 90s and early 2000s, those films are not tough to sell today, are not easy to sell, sorry. And a lot of that you can see digital. If you go digital, you see a lot of crime thrillers, you see a lot of psychological thrillers, you see some love stories. The Korean wave is huge. You know, the K-dramas are ruling the waves even in India. That format of love, you know, so those films, you know, are designed more, the YA stuff, the young adult stuff is designed more for a digital domain, and the theatrical experiences, you just see this year that began with Pathan and will end with Dunki and Salar, all these are humongous movie star spectacle films, and if you just do the mathematic, it's all the big event tentpole films that have done the big numbers, save a few exceptions, like I said. So yeah, so I think there is a clear divide, but there will always be exceptions to that rule.
Right, and so with Rocky or Rani, you've said that the character of Rocky Randhawa was influenced by influencers in Delhi. How do you see this sort of influencer versus movie star game playing out? You've also cast a few internet personalities in your films recently.
You know, I think the Instagram game is huge. It's massive, and I think it's going nowhere for a long, long time. It's given opportunities to so many creative minds. It's given them a platform, and I'm very supportive of it. Because there's so much you get to learn. Like when we created Rocky Randhawa, the research was done on Instagram because there were so many West Delhi Instagrammers that, you know, there's a certain way they speak, and of course they were doing it for some kind of content creation, but also within that there were some pearls and words and a germ of a character that was born, and we in fact took one of them for our research as well, Yuvraj, who's a solid Instagrammer and an influencer, and I feel like we use this term influencer very lightly because not everybody is a legit influencer. There are some that are definitely influencing, and some are just thinking and posing to be influencers. I can't wake up one day and say I'm an influencer, but do I really have it in me to actually create a massive pop culture impact? Those are very few. Those might be 50 or 100 people, but there are about 20,000 of them trying very hard. So not everyone is an artist. Not everyone is a great actor. Not everyone is a great designer. Not everyone is a great influencer. There is a criteria to their success as well. There is an inherent talent that they have to possess to kind of make that kind of, as I said, pop culture impact.
And do you find that the line between a movie star and a very famous internet personality will blur?
There is no concept, according to me, of superstardom post the superstar era we've seen of Shah Rukh and Salman, and I feel now there will be the age of the actors. It's going to be the age of actors. It's going to be the age of talent. I think the internet has blurred that reality in any case.
Yeah.
There's so many people. The word celebrity can mean so many different things today.
Right.
At one point, celebrity meant movie star, meant cricketer. Today, celebrity is an Instagrammer. A celebrity is a food blogger. A celebrity is like somebody who is a fashion influencer. Like a celebrity is so many different people today. You know, a great author. You know, and like so many like people. Even there are mainstream designers, fashion designers. Like look at the brand of Manish Malhotra, huge celebrity, like with great equity. You know, so I mean, like those lines are blurred anyway. I feel like superstardom will find like that the fact that there will be an expiry date to superstardom.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that madness, that nation's crazy love for Shah Rukh, crazy love for Salman, for Amir, like for Akshay, for Hrithik, like you know that have like with over the years for Ajay Devgan, like this built over 3 decades of love. For even for that matter, Kareena Kapoor, Rani Mukherjee, you know, Kajol, you know, when they come and like, for example, when Rani and Kajol came on Coffee with Karan, I could tell the equity they carried because they come from like a legacy of 25 years. Even now, when Rekha walks into an event, the heads that turn, that's a movie star. When Aishwarya walks the red carpet at Cannes, movie star. When Mr. Bachchan is anywhere, movie star. Like I think like that movie star mania and that movie star magic, that is very tough to create in this generation of noise that surrounds us all the time.
Oh, absolutely. And in this Instagram era, you always talk about how music is a key part of your films, a character almost. Would you say that Instagram has changed the way that music production happens? Are you always mindful that you want that 1 minute that's going to trend?
I mean, you do think of, is this a reel?
Yeah.
Is this hook line a reel? Also, but what has happened with music is with the whole Spotify explosion and, you know, with just, I think the sound of music has changed.
Yeah.
There used to be a time where you could predict a hit song. You know, you knew that this was the meter, this is the song, this will play at a party, at a wedding, at like, and now you can't tell anymore because now there's a fatigue to a certain kind of sound and there is a new sound. If you go to the top 50 songs of Spotify, you'll see that there's a distinct sound that each artist has. You know, the success of AP Dhillon and Karan Johar and like so many other new voices that are creating bigger massive hits. Or it's Badshah and B Prak and you know each one, it's not just the vocal cords that are shining, it's the way they produce those songs, it's the sound engineering, it's the quality of what is working today, the groove that people dance to. It's not so easy. You know, there used to be a filmy beat, we call it a filmy theka, and we were like, we were assured of a hit song. It's not going to guarantee you that. Today, if you're not aware of the new sound in the zone, and which is constantly evolving and constantly changing like so fast that you've got to keep up, that keeping up, that maintaining that fighting for relevance is what music is all about today.
And as you said, we are seeing sort of the last of the superstars, and it seems like the best received episodes of this season of Coffee with Karan have been of the 90s stars, right? The Kajol and Rani episode and the Deol brothers as well. Do you feel that it's still good business to do a talk show in an age where celebrities are everywhere all the time?
Well, somehow this season still is doing phenomenally. So, and I think the thing with Coffee with Karan is that no matter what, it captures a conversation that you don't hear on other interviews. Because it takes a tone, sometimes frivolously, sometimes casually, sometimes intimately, either which way it takes a tone that is not something you're watching in a promotion interview
Yeah.
or an interview an actor or a celebrity gives to a magazine or to a publication house or to anyone for that matter, where they're not easy and they don't know the host that well, and also
Yeah.
the host or the interviewer sometimes doesn't have the gumption to ask a few things, you know, which
Yeah.
perhaps I get away with. So I think the success of that talk show lies in its candor. And as I said, it's both intimate and fluid and frivolous in equal measure. But something connects, I think, you know, and that's why that we're in our 8th season in the 19th year of that show.
Yeah.
With Disney Plus Hotstar, very excited to do a next season very soon. So, you know, you have
Yeah.
your answer.
Awesome. I wanted to bring up something that a writer wrote, and I would love to hear what you think about it. He said that Coffee with Karan is our periodic reminder that Shah Rukh is the only film star we have who can be witty, sardonic and philosophical all within the span of a single conversation, and everyone else is just water in comparison. Do you find that as a talk show host, do you feel like there is someone else who can take that mantle forward, someone you
I
look
don't
forward
think
to having?
I don't think there's a better conversationalist,
Yeah.
a more intelligent mind, a more charming and arresting persona, and just an aura that is inexplainable and just difficult to describe
Yeah.
than Shah Rukh Khan. That magnetism, that majestic magnetism, only he has. And I think in that respect, he's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
And a force of nature that there will be many great actors perhaps, and he's a mega star with great acting, like great performance abilities, like he's the best actor as well.
Yeah.
But a personality like Shah Rukh Khan, there will never be another of. There never was,
Yeah.
and there never will be. And I say this not with bias, not with love, but with complete assurance of knowing him and knowing several others. There is never going to be another Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Yeah.
So just coming back to the business side of things, the industry has always lived like a Friday to Friday. Do you think that that's changing? Are you using more data science and things like that, where you know what a Friday is going to look like well
Yes,
before?
I mean, we have research models.
Yeah.
We have also people, we have like organizations like Ormax that predict opening numbers. We also have research models to research your film.
Yeah.
You kind of can get an indication, but there's always that magic that you can't predict. You know,
Yeah.
of course, things are more structured and you can. And then I've been told by filmmakers that, oh, but don't grab us of our instinct. But I always say, you have instinct, but it's not your money in the game.
Yeah, fair.
We are a balance of commerce and art. You know, we're a beautiful balance, perhaps, an artistic balance, but it definitely balances commerce and art. I mean, nobody, if you make a film for yourself with your passion and your desire to tell a story, please do tell it. But then tell it with your own money.
Fair.
The moment you borrow money from somebody else to tell your story, it is no longer just, it is also yours. No, it's no longer just your passion, your baby.
Yeah.
Now you share it with somebody else's hard work. And so those two have to find a meeting ground. You can't be so selfish and just feel I'm making this film for myself. Because if it was by yourself, it should be funded by yourself. And so that beautiful blend of commerce and art has to kind of find the right kind of marriage. And then, of course, there is always that space for surprise or shock,
Yeah.
which you must keep, because all of us are taking chances, right? We protect ourselves as much as we can, but there is still a chance you take. We are not a business that is easy to predict.
Sure.
And also, we're a business that is immediately judged on that Friday by the entire world.
Yeah.
There's no other business in the world, barring the companies and stock exchanges,
Sure.
and I don't know whether, you know, those are ups and downs on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But here, when you make a film, and if the film fails, when you walk out of your building, you know that everybody in the world knows your film
Yeah.
has failed. You walk into a restaurant, you walk in, and you know you carry that failure with you, and that can lead to so many issues.
Sure.
Similarly, your success is as much a global information. It's very daunting, because every step of yours, you know, meets with a response from a unit you release, a trailer, to the film, there's constant response to everything, hatred, trollers, love, fan wars. It's like, how do you cut that noise out? And if you cut that noise out, then you can be accused of being unaware.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we're in a difficult industry, and it takes a lot of steel to kind of weather those storms. But some of us have worn very thick jackets, you know, and have like enough rescue material to kind of get out of those storms.
And what about artificial intelligence? Is that an area that you're looking at investing in for things like animation, for instance,
You know,
or VFX?
technology is something I respect, and all the truckload of research and work that goes into the creation of this spectacular technology, the VFX advancement, computer graphic enhancements that have taken place, artificial intelligence ruling, all of this I have so much regard for. Do I have all the information? No.
Sure.
Do I care to know? Yes. Am I equipped to know? No. So am I equipped to answer this question? No. Not at this point, but I promise to learn.
Cool. So what is one thing that you would tell someone who wants to become a film producer?
Set yourself up for failure, and you
any-
will therefore not feel the jolt when it happens, and the success will be a happy surprise.
and
If you
any-
set yourself up for success, it's the biggest mistake you'll make, because nothing can be predicted. And the second thing I would say is treat failure and success in the absolute similar way.
Yeah.
They should not be treated differently at all. The moment you get failure, let failure bog you down, and the moment you let success elevate you, both are errors of judgment.
Sure. And is there any like formula that producers would need to follow?
The simple formula is not again a formula. Again, I'm only talking commerce here. I'm not
Yeah.
talking the artistic
Yeah.
leap that you might take for a film, that I've taken and several filmmakers take, and many should. There is a recovery you get from music, which is in a good zone right now. Satellite, that is going through a tough time. Digital, that is in a good zone, and an average theatrical. I'm only talking about theatrical films. Average theatrical result that you may predict.
Okay.
Make that table and make sure that your budget plus P&A somehow comes close to that table. So your recovery is close to your budget plus P&A, and make the theatrical release the icing on that cake. This is as I say, this is the best case scenario.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always happen. 2 out of 10 times this can happen, but this should be an aspiration.
Sure. That's really good to know. And just one final question. You've had a great year. It is obviously a milestone year for you. And at the movies, it's been a sort of roller coaster where the year started out really slow, and then it had a huge up. And so how would you describe this year for you professionally?
For me, for the company, we've had one massive release this year,
Yeah.
which was my directorial in its 25th year. Very essentially, it had to do really well.
Yeah.
It was a massive national and international success, and more than anything else, it gave us a lot of love and respect.
Yeah.
The thing with films are, many films give you the money, but the combination of money, love and respect is rare. And this film kind of ticked those boxes, which I'm truly grateful and thankful for. On the other end, we've of course, set up many films to release. So it's been a great year of realization as well,
Okay.
of also about how we want to take steps forward. A lot of good things have happened to the company this year. We haven't had another release. We were meant to, and now we're moving most of our releases. So we have a big 2024 with lots of releases coming up.
Sure.
Hopefully, it's a shining year for us. But the hustle is on. It's a daily hustle. We have lots of shows coming up from Dramatic. The ad division is doing what it has to. DCA is on its feet and taking leaps as we speak.
Yeah.
So a lot is going on. Like the office is buzzing with energy. I'm excited to get into the new year with this renewed vigor, and also with the vision for the times that we live in.